What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be doing another kill streak breakdown, this time once again taking a look at some more subscriber gameplay. Today we're going to be taking a look at a 52 kill streak with Lando on Starkiller Base, and this gameplay is from my man Mace Winpoo, so I'll leave a link to the original kill streak on his channel if you guys do want to go and show him some love. Now, as always, if you guys want to submit your own gameplay to be broken down, then there is a link in the description of all of my videos. I generally only do streaks between about 40 to 75 just because that is a very obtainable kill streak for any newer or less experienced players to get. So if you do have any kill streaks in that range that you want me to break down, then be sure to submit those to that link in the description. As is the case with all of these kill streak breakdowns, I want to give a shout out to my partners in Glitch Energy for supporting the channel. I drink Glitch myself whenever I'm trying to get some footage because it does give me laser focus and a big kick of energy. So if you guys do want to try some for yourself, head to the first link in the description, and if you use code SAMMY at the checkout, you can save 25% off any purchase, so be sure to go and check that out, guys. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's not waste any more time and let's get stuck into the gameplay. So the reason I've chosen this Lando kill streak is obviously because just a few weeks ago I did upload my Lando hero guide. So as I always say, I do like to try and pair a kill streak breakdown with a hero guide whenever possible. It's just a really good way of you guys getting all of the sort of information and the star cards and stuff like that, all the stats from that actual hero guide, and then you can kind of pair that with the kill streak breakdown to just see, you know, a full round in action and see exactly how you need to play that character. So if you haven't seen the Lando hero guide, be sure to check that out after this as well. That'll go through all the, you know, the stats and the star cards and stuff like that. And then this video is obviously going to be a sort of prime example of how to put all of that information into action. Now, obviously they have already captured the left objective and they've pretty much got the second objective here pretty much done. Obviously Mace is just kind of defending that, and it looks like the enemy team is kind of been scared off by him because they're sort of all just waiting back for this to be finished. So he's done a great job there of sort of helping his team push up there and get to that objective. And you can see now that he's already starting to try and, you know, move into that second phase. He's trying to get there a little bit early to just sort of close the ground, because although Lando can be okay at long range, he is definitely better at that sort of mid range. And you can see here that Mace is already trying to sort of move up and close that ground just a little bit, which is definitely always a good idea with Lando. Now that goes obviously for his base blaster, but the other good part about that is that his sharp shot ability obviously just only has a certain amount of range on it, so you kind of do need to get close enough to be able to use it. And you can see Mace is doing a really good job here of sort of trying to make the most of that ability. This is the type of area where you kind of want to make the most of that ability. There's obviously not that much cover down there where he's sort of shooting at, and obviously you want to try and sort of maximize it, and you know, you don't want to spam it and just use it on a single person every time. But in those sort of areas where there's a lot of open ranges and you can sort of pick up a bunch of enemies at once when you're using it, those are definitely the situations that you do want to try and use it, obviously. So you can see that he's constantly using it, but he's not really like spamming it and just using it every single time he can. He's kind of waiting for the right time to use it. And although so far he actually has been kind of unlucky that, you know, maybe enemies are running behind cover just as he shoots or whatever, he's not getting as many kills as he's probably wanting to. He is definitely using it in the right situations so far, and you can see that he has picked up a few kills with it. Now this is a prime example, and I'm actually going to slow this part down. You can see that he actually picked up 2 enemies with that sharp shot ability there, but instead of shooting straight away, he actually waited to lock onto that third player there on the right. That is a perfect example of how to just, you know, use this ability slowly rather than just shooting as soon as you pick up a couple of enemies. A lot of people will generally like pick up, you know, 1 or 2 enemies and they just want to get those kills, so they'll shoot straight away. But you could see there that Mace, he saw the guy on the right and he wasn't getting shot at, so he's not in any immediate danger, and because of that he locks onto that third player, and that is a really good example of how to play slowly with this ability. Now this section of the map here, you can see he's just picked up a really nice multi-kill there, and obviously he's just going to keep doing the same thing. This is a really solid part of the map for Lando. If you can just sort of let the enemies filter out there and, you know, pick up a bunch of kills with the sharp shot, especially if you've got the card that reduces the cooldown time when you hit, I think, 3 enemies at once, you can see how quickly it is just constantly recharging. He is being recharged here as well, but you can see every time he's getting those 3 hits with it, sort of jumping halfway up to being fully recharged already. So even if he wasn't being recharged by the officers there, the way that he's doing this is just, yeah, he's really just teeing that up perfectly. And you can see that he's gone from like a 9 kill streak to like 25 kills in what, like probably 30 seconds there. So perfect use of Lando in this section. You can see he is just doing it over and over again. There's no need to change what isn't broken. So if this is working for you, obviously you don't want to stand out in the open and keep doing it, but you can see that he's just falling behind cover. As soon as he can use that again, he's just going up. It seems that the enemies are filtering out at the perfect time and he's just picking up a bunch of kills. And yeah, on a map map like this, or just any map really where there's, you know, there's really close choke points, maps like Naboo, for example, are another great example. Whenever that happens, you can pick up a bunch of kills, and you can see that he is just going to keep doing this until they don't let him do it anymore. Now, I'm going to fast forward through this section just because this is essentially just rinse and repeat, and that's the right thing to be doing here. He's literally just helping cap the objective, so we're just going to skip through this section here, but they do finally move on to the third and final phase here, and you can see that he pushes right in there straight away and tries to pick off a few of those enemies who are sort of retreating. That's always a really good idea if you want a few extra kills, is just to try and get in there with those enemies as fast as you can, because a lot of the time they're going to be running away and they're not really paying attention to anyone who's following them, and the faster you can get into the next phase, the better, especially with a character like Lando. If you've got, say, a Saber hero, then obviously it's going to be a bit easier to get into those tight hallways, but with someone who's a blaster hero, and obviously Lando's not one of the better characters in the game, the faster you can get in there, the faster your teammates can get in there, and the faster that you can sort of set up and, yeah, really just patrol the rest of the game. Now, you can see here that they are already capturing this left objective, and it's nearly halfway done, and so you can see that Rob really wants to just set up here and sort of protect that teammate who is capping the objective, and he does an amazing job of it there. He pretty much wipes out that whole squad that's trying to make it through the doorway there. And knowing Rob, I know that he loves getting the win. He loves, you know, playing the objective and helping his team win rather than just trying to get kills, and he's doing the sort of the best of both worlds here. He's picking up a bunch of kills here, but he really is helping his team. They've already captured that objective without, you know, even any effort involved in that pretty much, and he's just sitting there picking off anyone who's trying to come in, and then obviously he straight away tries to move over to the right side objective. Obviously that's the last thing they have to do to win the game, and so he's done his job already helping on that left side, and now he's already straight away moving over to the right side in order to try and bring home the win. Now, he makes a really good decision here. In a second you can see that he could just push through this hallway here, but the smarter thing for him to do is to actually flank all the way around. He doesn't know what's in that room, and obviously it could have been completely safe and he could have just waltzed in there like it was nothing, but he's not going to know that until he walks in, and for all he knows, there could be 10 enemies just watching that doorway. So he chooses the, I guess, more stealthy option. This hallway over here on the right, you know, this is a pretty low traffic area. Most people don't tend to flank this way for some reason, even though for me this is probably the main way that I actually get into this room. And so as you can see, he's now sort of gotten into this room without the worry of not knowing what's in there, because from here you can kind of get a better overlook of the whole room when you actually go through those doorways. If you go through the door over on the other side where he was initially, you can't really see who's above you on that catwalk to the left there. So he's done the right thing there, pushing all the way around and taking it a little bit slower. Obviously they've dominated on that first objective, and so he has sort of earned himself a little bit of extra time to do a bit of a flank there, and it definitely worked out in the end. Now right here he actually gets pushed by Vader, and this is a masterclass of how to escape Vader. You can see that he gets choked here and he actually throws down the smoke straight away. This is essentially to make it harder for him to actually hit Lando when he's swinging the saber. He then throws down the shock and stuns him and hits as many headshots as he can, and then he turns around and hits him with that sharp shot, and rightly so, he hits him with a cheeky little teabag as well afterwards. So that was honestly dominant. Like, Vader had, you know, every right to pretty much win that whole battle there. He probably could have won that without taking any damage if he played it properly, but yeah, Rob just completely dominated that dude, and yeah, he deserved a bit of a teabag there, to be honest. Now at this point they are obviously pretty close to winning here. It's sort of like just over halfway of the objective being done, and they've only got 27 tickets, so this is sort of coming down to the wire here, and he tries a bit of a different angle here to try and go through this main entrance. It's always a good idea to sort of reposition, especially because he did just kill that Vader and he gave him a teabag. And one thing that, especially on Aussie servers, we all know that if you do anything remotely toxic, you can expect to get absolutely targeted for the rest of the game and probably for the rest of the session, because for some reason us Aussies tend to be very angry for whatever reason. So he tried the different entrance there, it didn't really work out, so he has come back to this other entrance here, but he's come with a bunch of teammates, so obviously he's got some reinforcements this time, and you can see that a bunch of enemies did sort of fill in this room when he left, even though it would have been, you know, great if he could stay in here and sort of just try and protect the room from all those enemies filling in. Like I said, he would have got targeted. I can almost guarantee that someone would have come chasing after him eventually, even if it wasn't that Vader. He was obviously picking up a few kills anyway. So he sort of went into that main objective, and it was almost like he brought a few teammates with him, and then he went back and he's done a pretty good job of clearing out the area. And as you can see, the team has sort of started to push in again, and once again he decides to go back for another angle. You can see just how close the objective is there, so They've only got 9 tickets. This is kind of do or die at this point, and it gets done for a second there, and then the teammate who was doing it ends up dying. But you can see that he comes in with the troops here, and they only needed one guy to jump on it for a second, and as you can see, they did manage to get the win. Definitely a very awesome kill streak there. It was not only great for the actual kill side of it, but it was a very objective kill streak as well. He did pretty much everything right in terms of trying to win the game there, and so that was definitely one of those kill streaks that was pretty dominant in every aspect in terms of getting kills, but also dominant in terms of he essentially helped carry his team to the win, obviously with a bunch of his boys in his squad too that helped him along the way. So anyway, that is going to do it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like down below, and if you are new, then consider subscribing to the channel with those notifications on. Like I mentioned earlier, be sure to check out glitchenergy.com if you guys want to try some glitch for yourself. They have an awesome starter kit with a shaker and 7 flavors to try for only $15, and with my code, which is code SAMMY, that comes down to only about 11 or 12 bucks, so be sure to go and check that out. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Crush them! Make them suffer!